Yo, E-Dirt. Well, Hollywood Hills here once again. I did manage to survive the weekend. It was an absolute banger. Penultimate round of the GXCC series out at Falkville, one of my favorite events. I've done 2 of the events back in the day, and I've always had a good feeling out there. This time around, lucky enough to go out with the guys that do the TV coverage, Kings of Dirt, Andrew Mulligan and Ryan Odds, and we did an absolute brilliant ride on the Friday. I've been trying to get into this situation the whole way through the year, which is to go and ride a lap of the events that I'm working at, so that I've got more of a clue and I'm not just waffling on. You know, I always get like little spies out there to tell me what the track is like, but this time around we actually got to go ride it. Big props to Rian Niveling and KTM South Africa. Big 500 XCW. My arms are a little bit longer than they were, but the hands still held out there. What an amazing machine. Thanks so much. Very underrated bike, the 500. I've seen a lot of the guys like Zach Neiman rocking and rolling on the 500. I always thought you had to be kind of a big guy to hang on to that, but I haven't worked out for a while, and I got away with it. Beautiful 45-kilometer loop. Real easy, real rideable, and from my side, just easy to promote an event like that because such a good lap. 45 Ks, by the way. I'll tell you who got the lap record a little bit later on, but it was a 34-minute lap. 45 Ks, 34 minutes. You do the maths. That's hauling, man. Absolutely hauling. We also did a ride of the junior lap, and I've got to say, we'll start things out with the juniors. A massive entry. This is really good for our soul because you know, we can't actually go anywhere into the future without knowing that the kids are going to be there to pick up the pieces of these old guys when we all quit and retire. Massive entry from the 65, massive entry from the 85s, and the track. And the reason we're getting such good entries is because the track is laid out so clean, so nice, open and flowing. A little bit of techie felt for the kids to deal with, but nothing too bad. And not a lot was asked of them, and it made for really close racing. So well done once again to the GXCC Tour and all of the management to make sure that the kids track is as dialed in as the big track. Okay, let's talk results. On the big track, we'll start things out with the quads. Okay, Little Hammond, the giant slayer, once again the man to beat, and proved it. He went out there coming off his big win down at the Koa where he's the first kid across the line. Still a teenager, this guy. We were all wondering where the next great white hope was going to come from as far as the quad racing goes after Brian Baragwanath. Remember, Brian's still out with his spaghetti elbow. But Hannes was there on his hybrid. I didn't actually realize it until this weekend. He actually crowbarred a KTM 450 engine into his Suzuki. That's why he calls it the hybrid. Unfortunately, an exhaust problem had him tapping out after 2 laps. Keenan went on to take the big win. Big props once again. This kid has got a hugely bright future. As far as the other names, big Johan Oosthuizen was there once again, rocking and rolling in the Q2s. Henny Michau, very, very strong campaigner coming off his big win at the previous round at Bronchies. The ladies were lined up there as well. In fact, I think this round saw the biggest lineup of quad ladies, so props to the girls. We've been kind of begging you guys to come out there. Falkville is always a very popular one because it's only around about an hour down the road from Johannesburg, an hour and a half from Pretoria. So it is, as far as we go on the GXCC Tour, the closest one to home. So real good results coming out of there. Gideon Jacobs, luckless. Every time he swings a leg onto that KTM, he has a problem. Last time he was coming in tickling it because the throttle cable had snapped. He had to put that thing back together. This time around, he came in on 3 wheels, having his own problems. Too tall. Oh, man, I don't know what's going on with old Carl Rost. He went into hyperdrive down one of the straights about 15 Ks into the lap, got it crossed up, tagged the back end on the fence, went spitting and barrel rolling down the road. Thanks to Russman Ferreira, he gets the Good Guy Award because he was there holding old Too Tall's hand. And Carl took another chopper flight up and down the road to Mill Park. A little bit of tissue damage on the right hip, the hip that he injured at, I think 2 rounds ago at one of the GXCCs when he went down hard. Bruised lung, nothing too bad. So Carl, we'll see you back out there, bud. Onto the 2-wheeler side of things this time around now. Big entry, once again. I think we've actually run an average of about 290, 295 throughout the quads and bikes the whole way through the GXCC Tour. So it just shows how popular it is. Great to see King Kenny lining up now. So Kenny is in a position, I think there's only 3 points in it between him and Ross Branch going for the National Championship Tour. So there's a 2-month gap between the Koa and the final round at Western Area. So he had to keep his blade sharp. So good to see the Husky Pro, the cargo racing Husky guy, went on to take the big win on his 450. I think it's the FC bike. Very, very cool bike, actually. Very strong. Nice track for him as well, and he was able to run the numbers out front. Got the whole shot, ran out front, walked away with a big OR1 win. But still making it into the top 5 in the OR1s was the Sherco pro, Ruan Smith. He had a little bit of a smashed up finger, so it can't have felt good, certainly after lap number 3. But it looks like he's done enough to hang on to and maybe close down and clinch that title in the OR1s. Very, very hard thing to do when you talk about the big bangers that line up there on the row. Okay, moving forward into the other categories. In the OR2s, Lo Schmidt, very strong as always. Obviously had to start from row number 2. Managed to get himself up there. It was a bit of a horsepower track. He's on the 350 and he managed to get himself up into a 3rd place overall, but walk away with the big win nonetheless. OR3s, Taki Bodgiages, as always. I don't say as always, but it's getting to the point where he is the man to beat in the OR3 championship for the GXCCs. And I'd love to see him carry that form forward into the Nationals. I definitely think he is a talent to watch going into the future. It's been a nice gradual climb up the ladder, watching him come through from back in the day, a little skinny kid, and now he is a polished rider. In the high school category, didn't look like Catalano was going to get away with this one. Basson, he got a 3rd place finish after actually crossing the line 2nd place at the previous round, but getting nailed for speeding in the pits. This time around, he got the whole shot, ran the numbers out there. Catalano only actually made the pass, I think it was with 2 laps to go on Basson. So Catalano, DNH Engineering Yamaha rider, walks away with another win in the high school category. In the 125s, Peltzer, also a bit of a story of this race, didn't get the whole shot, had to go plying the field. I think about halfway through the lap, he had the clear air and he ran the numbers out front. It was the Glock, old Michael Glockel. He, coming back off his dodgy foot, still looked like he was in a little bit of pain, but walked away with a real solid podium once again. So good to see all the kids and all the riders back on point and delivering good results and coming back from all the injuries. Dani Nienauber would have arguably been the winning lady in the bikes. This time around, she entered into the OR2 Pro-Ams, and well, she was on the box there. It was actually very good to see her coming back. She's been out in the wilderness for about 2 rounds of the GXCCs, and the Bert Smith Racing lady, who actually mans the front desk, by the way, at Bert Smith Attorneys, back on point after she's gone through a lot of events, and good to see her back on being a boy instead of being a girl, like she says. As far as the girls go, real solid ride, real solid results. Couple of ladies missing in action. No show for Cindy Porovich this time around, so she'll be losing some points in the championship. But the rest of the girls were all there on point, and it was an absolutely killer day. A lot of bikes took a bit of strain. There were some long straights. Believe me, when I was on the 500, it looked like you were going into the future down some of those straights. And a lot of the guys with the smaller bikes were having to roll off or hit the kill switches. I know my partner in crime that I traveled to these races in, Brucey Fillion, he actually popped his little 300, so commiserations to you, Bruce. But I know the new 450 Husky is getting delivered to you this week. So I remember, you know, and Bruce phoned me and said, which is the bike to ride? I said, if you've got a four-stroke and a 450, this is the one. I think I was banged to rights there, so Bruce knows he's going to be pedaling that thing and absolutely pinning it. The seniors battle was absolutely insane, but it was good to see Ludwig Janssen van Vuren on the Basefit KTM come good. He's opted to go for the new 250. It looked factory as hell, and good to see him get the running going there. That was after Bruce's bike went pop. Bruce actually took the whole shot. Ludwig came through and went on to take the big win. So a great run and a great ride for Ludwig. Good to see you back on point after your big crash a couple of months back. On to the Masters, the huge war. And I always call this the war. The 2-stroke versus 4-stroke. It's a 300? Yeah, a 300 2-stroke, and that's in the hands of insane Wayne Farmer on the Doorzone Husqvarna Biker Warehouse squad. That bike is just so factory, it's insane. I knew kind of coming off the lap on Friday that this was going to be a horsepower track, and Peter Hull on the 500cc KTM got the jump, got the whole shot, got the win, but only just. Those guys are so evenly matched. It is absolutely unreal. Okay, I probably missed a few people out, but that's my wrap up of the GXCCs from the penultimate round at Fockville, and we're going to throw forward now into the final round. That's in 1 month's time, Lakoa Lodge, so there's only one more round of the championship before we nail down all of our champions for 2016. The other thing we're going to be looking forward to, no event actually coming up this weekend, so right at the end of the month, confirmation, it's the Biker Warehouse Night X, the penultimate round of that series as well. Should be able to get away with it. It's been a little bit of a nail biter. Mike's been kind of cursed and blessed at the same time with weather, but Night X coming up at the end of the month, that's what we're going to watch out for. From me, Matt Smith, Hollywood Hills out, and we'll be picking up the pieces a little bit later towards the end of the month when we look at Night X, and then before we just take a huge breath and look at October. October is where we're going to be wrapping a lot of championships up. Final round of GXCCs, final round of National Off-Road Championships, and I think actually by then we can talk about wrapping up our National Enduro Tour as well. Of course, we'll be talking about throwing forward into a couple of bonus events, but for now, Hollywood out.